Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win and you find a way to lose. Please subscribe to the channel. It motivates me to keep doing this. And I promise I won't hit you with a bunch of boring content and biased content. I'm not that guy. So boom. Heavyweight division is about to blast off in 2024, man. Finally getting some movement. Tired of the bottlenecks. Tired of these guys sitting back just praying, to God that they get the biggest fight purse possible. That way, that one fight and that one fight payday will be equal to these guys fighting 3, 4, 5 times. I get it, but I don't really know if they fully understand, which I think they should understand better than me, how that inactivity can just kill your career. But that being said, I just did a video. Fury and Usyk are fighting. They're trying to make Joshua and Hrgovic. I personally think those 4 fights, those 2 fights with those 4 opponents, I think that's going to take off. I think that's happening. You can't make me believe otherwise. Because when you look at the dynamic of Hrgovic and where he was as far as mandatory to Usyk, for him to go and be fighting AJ, it all makes sense. He got another big fight. Probably got some step-aside money. It's all good in Hrgovic's world. But forget those 2. We know they have something in the works. Now we can look at what's going on with Wilder. What's going on with Zhang. Andy Ruiz has been begging for a big fight for a while. We know he shot himself in the foot. Didn't take the Fury fight. Didn't want to mess with Dubois. Who else he was supposed to fight out there, man? I think he had an opportunity, man, to get in there. There were some talks about Joyce, but long story short, man, this whole thing with Wilder, Andy Ruiz shot himself in the foot. But now that we got some movement, we could see Andy Ruiz, who's in great shape. We could see him, man, getting an opportunity at someone. Now, who? I don't know. I think there's always still the possibility of Wilder and Ruiz, but if you ask me, if Deontay Wilder isn't going to be fighting one of the big 4, and the big 4, which includes Wilder, but I'm taking him out for this example, is Usyk, Fury, AJ, and let's just say Hrgovic, right? Let's just call those the big 4 right now, because those are the guys who are going to be out there fighting around December time frame. That means that Wilder now could be looking at Zhang. That means Wilder could be looking back at Ruiz. It means Wilder could be looking at the winner of Manuel Char and Gerald Big Baby Miller. Now, I don't know if that's changed, but that's the word on the street. That for that WBA strap, Manuel Char, who's a WBA World Heavyweight Champion, he and Gerald Miller are supposed to fight. So now you got Wilder, who could go a few directions. In addition to that, you have Zhang, who's a WBO Interim World Heavyweight Champion. Now, the uniqueness of Zhang and Zhang's position, right? He has the WBO strap, so Zhang can't just necessarily pick up and decide he wants to walk on over to the IBF or WBC or WBA and fight guys over there. He's got to focus on his column. Now, check this out for Zhilei Zhang. I'm thinking Deontay Wilder is probably the biggest fight that can be made. I'm thinking Deontay Wilder and Zhang may be the biggest fight that can be made in boxing when you talk about the destruction that they bring to the ring. I don't care what anyone says. Deontay Wilder get in that ring and Zhang gets in that ring, someone's going to die, and I'm just telling you, they need to have the damn paramedics on site. They need to have a damn cardiologist there, a plastic surgeon. They need to have a little bit of everyone there from different medical specialties to be there to take care of those guys once the fight is over, because someone's going to get violated. But when you take a look at Zhilei Zhang, if it's not Wilder, well, under that WBO column, what does Zhilei Zhang really have? AJ's busy with Hrgovic. That's what it looks like going to happen. Let me tell y'all something. Jared Anderson's ranked number 2 after AJ. Zhilei Zhang and Jared Anderson. It doesn't matter what you think about Jared Anderson, how good you think he is, how much you like him. Let's not take it to the stupid. Jared Anderson, in my opinion, he's not beating no damn Zhilei Zhang. I don't know why we got to keep going round and round about this, man. Charles Martin, old, washed up, sloppy Charles Martin, man. He still got power. Charles Martin almost got Jared Anderson out of there. Just too big, too strong, too much reach. Jared Anderson is pulling straight back, and Charles Martin with that 80-something inch reach was just catching him with that backhand left. So if you put Zhilei Zhang in there, who's more accurate, who's faster, who has better footwork, right, who has more experience, and he has impeccable timing, Zhilei Zhang would destroy Jared Anderson. I'm not saying that because I'm rooting against Jared Anderson. Look, I talk boxing. I'm not going to say what you want to hear. I'm going to give you my opinion. I just don't see how Jared Anderson will stand a chance in hell against Zhilei Zhang. I say Zhang knocks him out in 2 rounds. I'll be honest with you. I think Zhang knocks Jared Anderson out in 2 rounds. That's it. That being said, I don't think Top Rank will put him in there. But he's ranked number 2. So, if he wants to keep that ranking, he's got to fight. If not, WBO will bump him. They don't play that over in the WBO. You get Jared Anderson, hey, you're up next. You got to fight Zhilei Zhang. And he says no. Man, they'll kick him out the rankings. But if for some reason Jared Anderson has an excuse to not fight him, then you got Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez will finally get his opportunity to fight for, I would say, a significant piece of the title. An opportunity at the WBO Interim World Heavyweight Championship. But even with Frank Sanchez, man, I think Frank Sanchez stands a better chance than Jared Anderson. He's very fast. He's got power. He will fight dirty. You saw in his last fight, just the other day, he was pulling the opponent's head down and then throwing the uppercut. So Frank Sanchez will do what he has to do to win. But I just think Frank Sanchez 6'4", Zhang 6'7", Zhang 80+ inch reach, southpaw, crazy power. I think Frank Sanchez will lose his right to complain because he will get on his bicycle and he will run. But hey, he just never know. When you have the kind of speed of Frank Sanchez, that's why they call him the Cuban Flash. He may be able to get in and out. He may be able to make the fight more interesting than what I'm giving him credit for. But we'll see. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Out of those names that we just talked about, Jared Anderson and Frank Sanchez, let me tell you something. Ranked number 4 is Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz could be the fight against Zhilei Zhang. Now, I think Deontay Wilder is a bigger name. I think that's the fight that they would like to have over there in China. But if they go down the ranking stack and they go down this pecking order, hey, Andy Ruiz could get the opportunity before Deontay Wilder. But I just think Deontay Wilder makes for a much bigger fight against Zhilei Zhang, whether they do that fight here or in China. But you just don't know. Andy Ruiz, he could be there too. That'll be a good fight because Andy Ruiz, he'll fight you. He has a good chin. But that would be a good fight too. Okay, so very interesting. Then we talk about the Daniel Dubois, the Joe Joyces, the Otto Wallens. Let me tell you something. F.A. Jogbas that's still out there. Now you got things where you can start mixing it up a bit. And out there in the UK, those guys they're staying busy, man. The UK, man, they have their fighters stay active. Matter of fact, you got Fabio Wardley and this guy David Adelaide. Hey, both of those guys are making a name for themselves in the heavyweight division, and they're fighting on the undercard. They're gonna be on the undercard of man, who's fighting here in a couple of weeks? It's all heavyweight action. Ah, damn, I forgot. See, I tell you, I'm getting old. They're on the undercard for somebody. Because they just had the damn brouhaha, man, and at the press conference, man. Whose undercard are they fighting under? It's not Usyk, not Fury, Shane. I can't remember. They're fighting on somebody's undercard. It's I can't remember. I guess I could pull it up while I'm talking to you. Now I'm going crazy because I don't like that. I hate that. When you have something on Adelaide versus Wardley, right? That's why. What's the under? They're the undercard for some big fight. I'm pulling it up right there. Oh, Fury and Ngannou. That's what I was saying. I know it was That's what it was. I know I ain't crazy, man. Yeah, they're fighting on the Fury and Ngannou undercard, so they're making a name for themselves. But the person who wins that fight, they're gonna bubble up, and they'll be on to the next. But I'm gonna tell you who y'all need to be paying attention to. This guy right here. Let me see. Where is he ranked? Where is he ranked? I'm telling you, he is a problem. Right here, number 15, Bakodir Jalal, gold medalist. That guy is a problem. He is a problem. Y'all better pay attention. Understand what you're dealing with when you start talking about this guy right here. Bakodir Jalal. This man is 13 wins, 13 KOs. He's 6'7", some say he's 6'8", 81, 82-inch reach from Uzbekistan. He is a problem. Telling y'all right now, you watch him fight, these guys getting in there with him, they are at an extreme disadvantage just because of the dimensions of this guy, the IQ, the outstanding amateur pedigree. He is a problem. He's a gold medalist as well. He beat the other guy who I think is going to be a big problem at heavyweight, Ricardo Torres. He actually knocked him out. But I'm telling y'all right now, he's doing what he's supposed to with the fighters who are being put in front of him. And when you just take a look at kind of what he's been able to do, you look at these first-round knockouts, second-round knockout, second-round knockout, first round. Picked up a fifth-round knockout. He got a knockout in the eighth round, then fourth round, first round again. So he is definitely doing what he's supposed to do as he's building up his record. But I'm telling you right now, old Jalilov is ready for all these guys here at heavyweight. I just think it's just a process. But I think he gives all these guys a problem just because of his size, his power, his amateur pedigree. But what I would like to see next for Jalilov, honestly, let him fight F.A. Ajagba. Because Ajagba got in there with Kosabutsky, and that whole thing was just a horrible fight because Kosabutsky, he just lost his mind and just turned to Andrew Galata in there. Just started throwing low blows, and he just threw the fight. And I'm surprised they didn't withhold his fight purse, That's just how ridiculous it was. But F.A. Ajagba, he's next up for something big as well. I don't think they would make Ajagba and Anderson. They're both top-ranked fighters. But those are some big names, man. And in 2024, I think we're going to see a lot more activity, man, especially with all this crap going on with Saudi Arabia and Riyadh and the damn sovereign wealth fund, and the fact that it looks like what's his name, Al Heyman, looks like that whole contract and deal with Showtime is coming to an end. Al Heyman is trying to work a deal with Amazon Prime to have all their fights aired on Amazon Prime. So if he can get that deal cemented, it's gonna be different, man. It's gonna be different. But the bottom line is, could be some more money on the table, and we could see these guys who have been in these holding patterns across all the different promotional platforms. We could see them all start to really get active, and hopefully, man, next year we can see these guys and kind of, cross platforms and fight each other to give us the best fights. But that's like wishful thinking. You know what I'm saying? Everyone trying to keep the money in-house. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like having a permanent girlfriend or wife on the side, It's just one of those situations that's that's a win-win for the promoter. But that being said, a lot going on in 2024. Let me tell you something. Joe Joyce, I'm not so sure what Joe Joyce is going to do. He come and took 2 losses. He took 2 losses to Zhang. I think Zhang beats most of these guys myself. But I think Joyce still has what it takes to get out here and beat a lot of these guys. But the reality of the situation is for Joyce, he's just looking really slow. His punches seem to be a lot of arm punches, but they say he's strong. They say he's like George Foreman. You know, he come plodding along and those shots like don't hurt, but they say Joe Joyce's shots hurt. They say the boy's strong. As a matter of fact, remember it was Joe Joyce and Daniel Dubois. Those are two of the fighters out there in the UK who are rumored in sparring to have knocked out Anthony Joshua. So I tend to believe that rumor because when they asked Joyce, he just basically said, yeah, it was true, and Daniel Dubois said it was true, but they weren't bragging. It's like they didn't want to talk about it, but the reporter was pressing those guys for an answer, and they gave it to him. But it is what it is. But a lot going on, man. So let's see how it plays out. Before these, Luis Ortiz, I'm not sure what's going to happen with him. Joe Joyce, I think he still has opportunities. Joseph Parker, I don't know what he's going to do. I would like to see Parker and Luis Ortiz fight. Hrgovic's active. Anderson, I think Anderson's just one fight away from losing. That's what I think is going to happen with Jared Anderson. The man, he just don't seem to be checked into boxing. His mind seems to be somewhere else, and he doesn't seem like he's fully committed. And I just think with the size of these, these damn giants running around the heavyweight division, although Anderson's like 6'3", 6'4", I just think he's not going to be able to handle banging with a Zhang, a Joshua Wilder, a Fury, even that guy that I just talked about, Bakodir Jalalov. They all destroy Anderson. But I think Anderson and Andy Ruiz is a good fight. Now, is that something that's feasible? Well, let's take a look. If you look at the WBC column, under the WBC, this green column, you'll see Jared Anderson 6, Andy Ruiz is number 5. Remember, they bumped Andy Ruiz way down. He went down 3 spots. So you could see Ruiz and Anderson. That's a fight a lot of people have talked about because stylistically and it matches up for a good fight, and they're both about the same size. That would be a good fight. I think Andy Ruiz kills him in that fight. I'm just being honest with you. For those of you still sleeping on Andy Ruiz can fight. I don't see how. I understand the man got under silk pajamas. He's sleeping really comfortably these days after them 2 Anthony Joshua paydays. But hey, Andy Ruiz can fight. And I just don't think Jared Anderson's ready for Andy Ruiz. And then let me see over here. I don't know. But this guy Agit Kabiel under the IBF in the rank number 8. See, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea who the hell that is. So when you start going through some of these names, it makes you wonder how these people are making it into these damn rankings. But we all, now in case y'all, let me kick a little knowledge here real quick, right, before I end this video. Now, for those of you who are wondering, how the hell can a name like Agit Kabiel end up in this ranking stack? How the hell can Gerald Big Baby Miller end up ranked number 6 in the WBA? You know, what in the world is going on? Well, let me tell you something. This isn't my opinion. What I'm about to tell y'all is a fact. You can go Google this. It's a known fact that promoters for years, going back 20, 30 years, they hook up with these sanctioning bodies, right? And they pay these guys money so that their fighters can get in the rankings, right? Because once their fighters are ranked in these sanctioning bodies, that leads to opportunities for bigger fights, bigger fight purses. Now, when you see certain fighters end up fighting for a title, and you're like, how the hell did that happen? Well, let me tell you something. It's because the damn secret society, man. Y'all think I'm joking with that, man. Go look at how Bob Aaron's been caught up in that stuff before. You know, Don King. It should be Don Corruption, you know what I'm saying? Don King mixed up in that crap. There's other promotional outfits that were mixed up in all that madness. Going back 30 years ago, 30 plus years, and even now. You know who talks about that a lot? Outside of myself, but who can intelligently speak to all that crap that's going on, because he's been immersed in the boxing scene for decades, man. It's Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas is crazy, man. The stuff he comes out saying, I'm like, man, he's brave. He doesn't care. He airs their dirty laundry. But he talked about that. Matter of fact, I've talked about this in other videos. For those of you who are saying, well, how's it possible? Well, I'm going to tell you how it's possible. There's a lot of conferences these organizations have, right? And at these conferences, they'll have referees there. They'll have these the ringside doctors there. They'll have judges there. They'll have individuals from the commissions there. Promoters are there. Managers are there. And even sometimes you have guys and girls from different networks. Now, you tell me, how in the world is that not a conflict of interest? When you have all these people there at these conferences, and at these conferences they're trying to decide who's going to stay ranked at number 4 or 5, or who's going to move up from number 11 to 4 or 5, and they're all trying to have a conversation and explain and justify and advocate on behalf of their fighters. And then they're trying to determine who's going to become the mandatory and who's earned it, who's deserved it. They're having this big set of talks going on. And sometimes when the dust settles, more times than not, you may see some things happening that is like, well, how did that happen? And I'm going to tell you, or how's that person staying in that position? Because it goes back to, like I said, hey, it's a money thing. Okay? And that's not my opinion, man. That's a fact. You look at this crap going on out there in Saudi Arabia right now. I've been to Saudi, beautiful country. No matter what no one tells you, man, don't listen to that. Saudi's a beautiful country. Now, if you're out there looking to do foolishness, well then, I guess you'll experience that side of Saudi I didn't get to see. But what I will tell you is the whole skills challenge promotion, the sovereign wealth fund, the Saudis trying to, sports wash things, and soccer, golf, basketball, race car driving. It just makes you wonder what the hell is going on over there, and how they're able to pull it off. But what you're seeing is there are a lot of people who are paying attention and they're interested, but there are a lot of people who are paying attention and they're like, nah, we don't want any of our athletes, no matter if it's golf, race car driving, or whatever it is. If any of you want to go over to Saudi Arabia and chase that money, you will be removed from whatever rankings they have here stateside, and you'll no longer be able to participate in the sport here. And I just think sometimes when they draw the line in the sand like that, I think it's more of them just trying to control the athletes instead of them really caring about the human rights violations that are taking place in Saudi Arabia. But that being said, when you start telling an athlete, hey, you go over there and I hope you get all the money, I hope you make gazillions of dollars. Because when you come back here, all the doors are going to be closed on you. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some things going on behind the scenes that result in a few doors closing when it comes to skills challenge promotions. And all that talk about taking over boxing, the money they have, and Prince Khalid and Derek Chisora was the face of boxing for Saudi. And it just makes you wonder, ask the question, what happened? What's the real story behind all that? But that being said, I think what they're doing is they're kind of taking a step back, they're resetting, they're reorganizing, and they're looking to hit 2024 hard. Especially if, some of these networks like Showtime is kind of getting away from the sport of boxing. Look, fighters are going to need to fight, and they're going to look for money, and some may even look for new promoters. And hey, out there in Saudi, man, that could be a great spot for some of these big name fighters to go and make some good money and start to put on huge events over there in Saudi Arabia. Matter of fact, why y'all think Usyk signed with Skills Challenge Promotion? Why you think Usyk over there in Saudi Arabia? Usyk's over there where the money's at. He's not stupid. Why you think Eddie Hearn has such a good relationship with the people out there, Frank Warren? And I don't know this for a fact. I wouldn't be surprised if Al Heyman had some dealings over there, or what you see going on right now with him and Showtime and him looking at Amazon Prime to air his fights, I wouldn't be surprised if he's having some communication with the guys out there in Saudi as well. Because remember, Deontay Wilder went out there, and Deontay Wilder couldn't even control his emotions. I mean, his tongue was hanging out his mouth, wrapped around his head, dragging across his scalp at the idea of him fighting over there and the type of money on the table. Shelly Finkel was with him, but you better believe that they closed the gap with Al Haymon when they returned stateside if they weren't having conference calls from Saudi. But all I'm saying is just have an open mind when you're looking at this stuff, and the more you learn about the things going on behind the scenes in boxing. You see, the fights get made. That's the easy part. But to stop for a second and to understand how that fight got made, why that fight got made. You see, that's what interests me, and that's why we're having this conversation. Because you can't tell me that Otto Wallen, really, he beat Tyson Fury, okay? They should have stopped that fight, and Tyson Fury was getting his ass handed to him. But Tyson Fury came out with a win. Y'all telling me that Otto Wallen didn't get robbed in that fight? But we know why. We know why that fight went the way it did and why it didn't get stopped. Because of who's in Tyson Fury's corner. And I don't care what y'all say. But that being said, we can talk all day about it before I start sounding like a damn broken record here. Just understand when it comes to the heavyweight division, 2024, I think it's going to blast off, man. And these fights that could potentially be made, they're all going to be home runs. All of them. But where are they going to be held? That's the thing. So let's wait and see. That being said, y'all keep cool. Big fights on the way. The bottlenecks breaking up in the heavyweight division. And I'm grateful. In the breeze.